It is time for an embargo to lift. The battle embargo, where we can now finally show off some Lizardmen versus Chaos Demons. Some Chaos Demons of Khorne. That's going to be the highlight here today. In this battle embargo, we can now pretty much cover solely battles releasing Warhammer 2 versus Warhammer 3 content, Warhammer 1, 2, and 3, whatever it is, just those forces fighting one another. So in this domination mode, we're going to be seeing some fun action with Lord Croak up against the hordes of Khorne. So let's take a look at this battle as it kind of pans out before us. As you can see, loading in here, we're going to have 2 units of Temple Guard. One of them being the Star Chamber Guardians. These guys, of course, are going to be delivering that lovely magic damage, that AP, that anti-large. In addition, though, with the Lord, we're going to be looking at Nakai the Wanderer himself with his dirty tricks of dirty little set of tricks here. He does have his Miasma of Despair, which is going to lower the speed, leadership, and vigor of things around him, as well as Primal Roar, which is going to cause some rampage, melee attack, physical resistance buffs to him, and he also gets his cold-blooded techniques. Lord Croak on the battlefield, as well as a Bastiladon Revivification Crystal. This is, of course, going to be the one that's going to be able to heal and replenish those Lizardmen troops. On the other side of the battlefield, though, we got 2 big nasties, a Bloodthirster, and then the Exalted Bloodthirster coming in as the Lord of Khorne over on this side of the field. Also, we're going to be looking at some other fun units with the Hellforged Host, the Exalted Bloodletters of Khorne. Take a look at those just big nasties right there. Ooh, look at that girth on these boys. Definitely going to be running through some Tran, maybe some Anavar. Who knows? Maybe even D-Ball nowadays. But you can see that they're going to be having that anti-infantry, that AP value with a nice 31 AP on them. They're going to be nice and juicy, as well as some flaming and magic attacks on them. They're going to be in it to win it. They also are armored, so they will have a nice 60 armor compared to your standard Bloodletters of Khorne. Although those are exalted, they have around 30 armor here with your Bloodletters. These are exalted again, Bloodletters of Khorne. Also going to be looking at a unit of 2 units of Warriors of Khorne, just your standard variation, not the dual wielding bros on the battlefield. But let's get this thing just going in full motion here. Now, remember, this is domination mode, so you do have to capture these points. It's going to help tick away from the, it's going to tick away into your victory tickets. The more victory tickets that you have, of course, the closer you are to victory. So we can see some supplies kind of coming down. These supplies are then used towards the reinforcements that you can summon onto the battlefield. Looks like we're going to see some Chameleon Skinks reinforcements here. Going to help with some poison attacks onto these Bloodthirsters, give a little bit of that ranged combat, little ranged oppression onto the flying units here for Khorne. Now, the nice thing, too, is, remember, any kind of poison attacks have a bevy of other benefits, right? Ooh, where is it? Where is it? There we go. If I can, well, speed, it's speed, armor-piercing damage, it's missile damage, it's base weapon damage is all going to be reduced whenever that poison trips off on a unit. But we have to wait 44 seconds until points can be captured, so we're going to go ahead and fast forward a little bit because there's just going to be some light skirmishing here and some units being summoned in from Khorne. Looks like we're probably going to see the dual-wielding Khorne warriors coming to the battlefield, helping out the... Oh, what was it? I didn't see. Well, it's okay. Oh, there it was. It was the Chaos Furies of Khorne. I was like, I swear I saw something. But you can see that we already getting those Chameleon Skinks there, locking into the Exalted Bloodthirster, getting that poison onto him, lowering that speed. And this is a really good target. It's a nice high-value target. These guys can pretty much just kind of skirmish away, get some little plinking shots off. It's going to slow things down. They're not going to do as much damage. Way less of a scary situation. And they're getting some pretty solid little damage in, right, for the value of unit into those hits. I mean, that's just, that's health they're not going to get back because this is Khorne we're talking about. Khorne Fury still getting a little bit of that crazy action here, trying to spread that Khorne herpes all over the place. And we do still have that pressure coming on, but we got a nice charge in here to these Chaos Warriors, finally getting some fun action. Let's get these guys jumping over here. Look at that. Oh man, that is so beautiful. The regiments around, right up those lizard butts. Boom! Punting them around a little bit, trying to pull away from that hit. Do also have a shot coming down here doing some damage with them. Or no, I'm sorry, that wasn't that's the Supreme Shield of the old ones, which they have changed the visual of, and it has thusly confused me. Damage resistance plus 40% on that, of course. We also have the Ancient Salamander shooting off down range. Croak doing some damage down onto some enemies. What it's going to do? A little Deliverance of Itza over here. Oof. Mainly kind of toasted up some of those... Hellforged Host. I was like, they're called Hellforged what? Hellforged Host, knocking a few of them down, but they were able to get out of that before not too much damage was dealt out. But you can take a look over here. Nakai is in a pretty precarious situation. We do want to look at Nakai's profile, though, because he does do a lot of armor-piercing damage. Sure, it's not anti-large, but he's now being supported by the Temple Guard, which are going to pour on that anti-large and that AP damage into the Bloodthirster. One of them going down pretty heavy here. Of course, not the Exalted. Exalted still has about 3/4 of its health left. And Croak just kind of wandering around, getting some good damage in, dropping some bombs here and there. Another Deliverance of Itza, kind of just tripping off, missing those Chaos Warriors just a little bit, not really doing too much damage right there. But you can see now that Bloodthirster is pretty much in a bad situation, wrong neighborhood, and its Prius tires are going to get jacked. As the #1 driven car in America, those Prius tires are always at risk wherever you go, especially if you're in Colorado. As you can see, though, we've got some more Chaos Warriors of Khorne, this time with the dual weapons coming in. Those are going to work really well against these Star Chamber Guardians and the Temple Guard, just to help out with some anti-infantry damage coming into them. Remember, though, that these Temple Guard do still have 85 armor, so it's quite a bit of defense that they've got. Temple Guard pulling away, in a little bit of a sandwich situation here between these Chaos Warriors and the charging Chaos Warriors of Khorne. You can see at the top, though, the Khorne has a very commanding lead here, right? You can see they have 925 victory tickets. That's going to be really hard to come back from. And that's kind of the big thing with Domination mode. If you have that big game Alpha Strike in the beginning, you better be able to hold that lead. Right now, the Khorne player has lost their Bloodthirster, and now they're about to lose their Exalted Bloodthirster in a pretty terrible misplay here. Just kind of unfortunately leaving it to its own devices as it gets plucked apart. And as you can see, the Lizardmen are starting to spread all over the place. Chameleon Skinks down over here. They do have some Bloodletters of Khorne that's going to probably oppose that capture point. Skinks, or I'm not Skinks. It's Cold One Spear Riders as well as Chameleon Skinks over here on this point. And capture point 2 is heavily contested in the control of Tzeentch, though, but there's going to be some reinforcement coming in. The Ancient Salamander, Nakai himself, ready to drop that Hammer of Doom. Let's get up close and personal on this, dude. Look at these spawns, these disgusting creatures. It's fun to look at that jump attack animation from the Lizardmen into chaos here, into the Khorne daddies. Chaos spawn over here next to the Revivification Bastillodon. Now remember, the Revivification Bastillodon is still a support unit, but it is still going to be able to do quite a bit of damage in melee. 250 AP anti-infantry type of damage coming out with 140 armor. It's no slouch. It's definitely no slouch. Was I looking at the right thing? Yeah, it's definitely no slouch. I was like, wait a minute. We can see, though, that Bloodthirster is in really bad shape over here. Just kind of getting hit up and harassed, but it was able to stop the Cold One Spear Riders, which are actually going to be able to trade a little bit of damage into them, but they don't want to get mucked up in these Khorne Warriors of Khorne with... Khorne Warriors of Khorne? Chaos Warriors of Khorne with halberds that are going to have anti-large and AP damage. But they are really just kind of trying to lance through this here, right? Squeeze through, and we can see that things are going pretty well for Khorne. I'm sorry, for Lizardmen, as Khorne is really just kind of struggling to grasp on. Some Chaos Hounds kind of summoned in the background here. 2 warriors fleeing off the table, and that center point is now getting to be captured on over for the Lizardmen, putting the Lizardmen up 2-3 on the 2-1 on the points, giving them some much earned victory points. Like I said, with Domination mode, if you have those heavy alpha strikes and you cannot hold true to what you've just done, then you're really going to be struggling uphill to keep that lead. The Exalted Bloodthirster of Khorne is on its last 1,000 health here, and it is getting shot by literally everything on the Lizardman battlefield. Ooh, what was that on the very back? It was a cool little lightning crash. One thing I have not mentioned, if you guys have seen, we're seeing this game from the Lizardman perspective, meaning you can see that little options bar. The unit info card is blue, not red. So as you play different factions, they will have different unit info cards and colors that will correspond loosely to that faction. So you'll be able to see some fun changes there, no longer that drab red that you would have probably recognized and noticed, and maybe even hated in your typical playthrough of Warhammer 3. Coming up, though, 2,200 to 1,300. Lizardmen are in a good position, but they are losing this first point. Ooh, this first point all the way over here to the double Chaos Hound spawn just a second ago. Right there. Double Chaos Hound spawn, which have routed these Chameleon Skinks. Of course, they're going to be able to chase that thing down and just kind of get right into that cookie jar. But we're going to see that captured now for Khorne, giving them a little bit more of a way to stay in this fight. A lot of the bigger, heavier, scarier units for the Lizardmen are pretty beat up now, right? We still have this unit of Temple Guard, which has got some good health in it, but the Star Guardians are pretty beat up. We have Lord Croak in a bad position. Nakai is still in good health, so I think with the amount of pressure that the Lizardmen can pour into this, they can probably still keep it together here. I wish there was a way for me to take a look at their reinforcements from here, can I? That's just hogswoggle. You know what? What kind of spectator am I if I can't see all the goods? Anyway, we got these Chaos Hounds. Dude, just bulldoze, and Flesh Hounds, actually. I was like, these Chaos Hounds had a bit weird gait to them. But yeah, these Flesh Hounds jumping in here. Now, Chaos Hounds and Flesh Hounds are two different types of beasts. The Chaos Hounds are faster. The Flesh Hounds are a much scarier unit. Higher charge damage, as you can see. You can see that charge bonus is almost double. A good amount more armor, a 30 versus that 25. And you can see a melee attack increase on these guys as well. The Hounds are currently buffed, but these guys do have a melee attack and defense buff. A higher stat other than that. Also they have magic damage right now, which is pretty lovely. But we're getting these Chaos Warriors with dual weapons coming in here to help kind of buzzsaw things. Again, remember, they do have that anti-infantry. They're going to be able to do short work of these Temple Guards. The Temple Guard at the same time, though, will be able to do quite a bit of damage with their AP halberds, as they'll be able to swing into stuff. Looking at 3,100 to 2,100 on that score there. The Lizardmen have regained the third point. That's the second and the third point. And there is a little bit of a contesting going on, but they do have the Sock'em Rock'em Bop'em Sacred Croxagores just trying to show things how to bop it, sock it, and rock it against these spawn of Khorne, which are just about to probably dwindle away here soon. Heavily holding down both the second and third point. They are now in a position to grab the first point, which would give them all 3 points. This again puts Khorne in a very shitty situation, because I do not think Khorne has any... Oh, I lied. They do have a little bit more reinforcements they can push in. We got some dual weapon Khorne warriors, as well as some Chaos Furies coming in here. I thought this said Chaos Champions of Khorne dual weapons. I was like, well, that's new. And a Chaos Warriors charge into the Sock'em Bop'ems right in the butt. And the Sacred Croxagores here, they do have a really high amount of AP, right? They're going to be just jolt slamming things with these things, and it's going to enable them to do quite a bit of damage. And with the Bastiladon here, it's in a pretty good position. The Skin Cohort with Javelins does have the ability to shoot, but it is completely out of ammunition right now. The first point, the second point, and the third point are now all held by the Lizardmen. Looking at that victory point allocation here, it's going to be pretty heavy. They're going to be getting 10 tickets. It is going to be hard for Khorne to stay in this. They're going to really have to take one of these points at the very least to slow down that ticket crawl that the Lizardmen are now getting in spades. It looks like they're trying to bum rush the third one, really pouring in everything they can into this. We've got the Furies over here. They're going to have these Chaos Warriors with the dual weapons, as well as these standard warriors up in that butt. Whoa! Flesh Hounds of Khorne jumping on a rogue Lord Croak here. He's below 50% health, and he doesn't want to get too much damage, so he's dropping that shield of the old ones, giving that 40% damage resistance buff here. He does have some help in with the Ancient Salamander, and some support coming in with the rest of the bros and the rest of the battlefield, helping to try to mitigate the damage coming here. Croak's not in good shape, though. He is falling fast. He's just getting chunked apart by these Flesh Hounds. Oh, Croak is not going to be having it. There's some support coming in with some more Sock'em Bop'em Croxagores. 3,700 to 3,400. Finally, Lizardmen have taken the lead for the first time in this match. Croak dwindles. He falls away at 800 hit points, trying to drop... Ooh, did he drop... I thought he dropped a Itza bomb. Pizza the Itza. Oh, that's just his melee attack. That's right. 500 health. He is going down for the count, rejoining his ancient slumber. Let's just go ahead and put the rest of his body parts back together and put him on a tome and resurrect him at a later date. Before that point over here, though, is he going down? I gotta watch the death. You're right. Whoever's watching. Oh my God, he held on by 128 points of health. Whew! Croak almost croaked. Man. Third point, though, heavily in the hold of the Lizardmen, and you can see that they are going to be taking this here today. There is no way Chaos can come back from this, and we have got a Lizardmen very close victory there. I think the kind of proof is in the pudding on this one. Such an ESPN thing to say. Proof in the pudding on this one, Bob. I watched the combine. He had a 45-foot vertical, you know. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But seriously, I still think that that first initial wave here of bringing out the Khorne Exalted Bloodthirster and the Bloodthirster was a really good way to get that alpha strike in. There was a lot of pressure in the early portion of the game. It allowed Khorne to really push ahead fast in the victory tickets. But with the Lizardmen, you've got two such stalwart characters in both the Temple Guard units here. You have the Ancient Salamander and the Revivification Crystal. helping to really hold the line. The Revivification Crystal, as we said, is really just good on its own as far as a combatant goes. When you look at the reinforcements too, the Cold One Riders weren't really able to come off and do a lot of damage. They were able to kind of chip away here at the Exalted Bloodthirster at the end of the match, but for the most part, they weren't able to do a whole ton. What really kind of saved the day here was a lot of the Chameleon Skink play, 65 kills on these guys, the Stalkers, which are the ones with the actual melee weapons. The Archer Sotek, which I actually didn't even see on the battlefield, and the Sacred Croxagore is helping to just hold the line on that third point. I think if I were to redo this, if I were to see this differently with the Khorne Force, probably less of the spawn and more either mobility or just more like central line. Personal opinion, I think that the Bloodthirsters really thrive here because they do have that anti-infantry capabilities. They can actually threaten very well into a lot of the Lizardmen line, so maybe replacing those spawns with one or two of them would have been pretty good. But either way, hats off to our combatants here. Hope you guys enjoyed this little battle embargo. Please go and check out all the other bros that are putting up battles today. You're going to look at Indy Pride. You're going to look at Turin. Everyone else is going to be putting up some form of battle video. Dov plays, Janet on occasion, everyone out there. So make sure you get your fill of battle vids. I do have another replay I can cast, but we can be putting these out pretty much unlimitedly. Limitless. There's a limitless amount of videos we can put out pertaining this. So be on the lookout for this, and especially too if you want to see the different colors here, right? This is from the Lizardman perspective, so you might want to see what the High Elves look like or something like that. You can see those on any of the other videos out there right now. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.